This conference will now be recorded.
All right.
Okay, sounds good. So welcome everybody to this meeting of the Montachusett Metropolitan Planning Organization. My name is Derek Cravat. I'm the manager of Metropolitan Planning Organization activities in MassDOT's Office of Transportation Planning. I'll be chairing today's meeting. Do we have a quorum, Brad?
Yeah, I'm just double checking. I believe we should. Derek, you're for the secretary, right?
Yes, I'll be representing MassDOT Secretary. Yep.
Is there someone representing the highway division?
I can do that.
Okay, so Sarah will do that. And Tom, Mark. And so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 here right now, so I believe we do have a quorum.
Okay, perfect. Sounds good. So I know the first item on the agenda is introductions. So would it be best to kind of read the role and then let folks introduce themselves?
Sure. For the MPO signatories, for MassDOT, Representative Secretary and CEO Derek Pratt.
Yep, here.
MassDOT Highway Division, Sarah Bradbury.
Yes, representing Highway Administrator Jonathan Gulliver.
Okay. Representing City of Fitchburg, Tom Skrzaski.
Here.
Okay. I don't see Trevor's name here. Leominster, Mark Pamarini.
I'm here.
Okay. The MRPC chairman is not available today, so Guy Corbacero is not here. Representing Mark, Bonnie Mahoney.
Here.
Representing Subregion 1, Brian Proto from Winchendon.
Present.
Okay. And that looks like all of the signatory members.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Brad. The next item on the agenda is public comments. Are there any members of the public present that wish to make a comment at this time? All right, seeing none. If you do have a comment during the meeting, you can type that into the chat box or feel free to unmute and we'll call on you to make a comment. The next item is approval of the June 15th, 2022 meeting minutes. So is there a motion and second to approve the June 15th meeting minutes?
So moved.
All right.
Second.
Second. Okay. Any comments, questions, feedback on the minutes? All right. Seeing none, so the motion being made and seconded, I think you can call the roll, Brad.
Okay. MassDOT Secretary CEO Derek Pravat.
Yes.
MassDOT Highway Sarah Bradbury.
Yes.
City of Fitchburg Tom Skrzaski.
Yes.
City of Leominster Mark Pamarini.
Yes.
Mart Bonnie Mahoney.
Yes.
And Subregion 1 Brian Proto.
Yes.
So it's passed unanimously.
Okay. Sounds good. Thanks, Brad. The next item on the agenda is the statewide long-range transportation plan. I can give this update. So our statewide long-range transportation plan is continuing. Nothing too extensive this month to report on. I'll just say that we have a visioning survey out right now. I know there's an RTP discussion later on as well to talk about the regional plan. So it's a similar process to that. But our current survey that asks about kind of broad vision for the future of transportation statewide is closing at the end of this month in July. And we're very close to our goal for survey responses. So Chris, if you are able to put the link to the survey in the chat, that would be great. And if folks are able to share the survey, I think we did a quick analysis of where we're getting survey responses. And I believe we do need more from kind of the north central Montachusett area. So if folks are able to share this and encourage friends and colleagues and family to participate, that would be very appreciated. So we make sure we're capturing perspectives from the region as part of that public participation. And then we'll be sure to share the results of that survey as soon as they're available. We're also launching a additional survey, likely sometime in August or September. So just be on the lookout for that. And that will involve looking at trade-offs across MassDOT's various capital programs and what some of the preferences and priorities are among the public for that. So more to come, but a lot of public engagement happening for the statewide long range plan for now. So
if you send me the information, I'll post it on Mart's website too.
oh, great. That'd be excellent. Thank you, Bonnie. Appreciate that. So any questions on the long range plan? All right, seeing none, we can move to the next item, which is agenda item 5, Montachusett Federal Fiscal Year 2022 to 2026 Transportation Improvement Program, review of the potential adjustments in amendment number 6 to the transit element. So hand it over to Brad and Bonnie.
I'll let Bonnie talk about this, but can everybody see the amendment or the proposed amendment up on the screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Go ahead, Bonnie.
Okay. So Mart, this has been a really crazy year for projects. Nothing has gone out on time, and the prices were constantly changing. It was rather crazy. So the green line that you see headed here, this is the award that Mart received through the Community Transit Grant Program under 5310 funding for our 5 vehicles that we received. We haven't received them yet, but they are supposed to be here before the end of the month. So that's good. All these yellow ones are all adjustments that we made with MassDOT for a number of reasons. We had a few projects that came in considerably over budget. Only one of them is marked here because one project was kind of split in 2, and we decided not to do the second half so that we could stay within our budget. This other one, the rehab maintenance space floors, this was projected originally to come in at about 125, including design, but we ended up having to do some environmental studies, which ate more design money than we intended, and then the costs were just higher than we anticipated for the bid. The actual construction is 156 out of this 182. So we needed to shift some funds around to put money to that project. You can see we had to add $57,000 to that project to get it to the pricing. On the Allison fleet things, the funny thing about this is we had to make this $4,000 adjustment because we received a rebate from the transmission company because we returned a core to them, and where the other 3 transmissions are sitting on the shelf till they're needed, this one was done as soon as it was ordered, and they gave us a like $3,900 rebate. So that's why there was that $4,000 adjustment on that line item. And then the Ford transmissions came in a little higher than we originally were told. The Gardner Maintenance Facility rehab, what we did is we did a study first because we had to do this because of honestly, it was the building inspector in Gardner was a little leery about the trench drain, and he was anticipating that that the oil water separator wasn't installed correctly because of some issues in the trench drain. So we did an investigative study. We actually stuck a camera scope under the ground and found that everything was installed properly. So the original money that was going to go to fixing the problem, if it was not installed properly, we didn't need that money anymore. So it was only the study and the cost of scoping with the camera That's why that had such a substantial decrease, which is good because we needed the money to go to the maintenance bay project. And then the remainder of the money that we couldn't get from the other projects came out of the Fitchburg Rehab Intermodal Center. That was another larger project that was split into 2 projects. We are doing the roof, but the rehab of the concourse, we received 0 bids for doing that. And we were told by a lot of the contractors that we reached out to ask them why they didn't bid. They said they couldn't get glass subcontractors. So this is a crazy construction world we're in right now. So we're leaving we took the money that we needed to balance out our other projects out of that project, and the remainder of the money will remain there because we're hoping to go out and rebid it when some of the construction world kind of isn't so crazy. So that's it. Any questions?
Okay. Thanks, Bonnie. Any questions for Bonnie?
Sure.
Okay.
I saw a finger.
Oh, was there a question?
Oh, I'm sorry, I was muted.
Okay.
Bonnie,
Yep.
just had a question about the scope of work in the intermodal center. Does that include an elevator renovation?
No.
Because I know that issues were flagged at our recent Disability Commission
No,
meeting
so we have
about
an FY23 project for the elevators.
Okay.
The scope of the project was just that first floor, single level concourse, sort of South Pod commuter rail waiting area. Nothing to do with either the North Pod that has the administrative buildings, or the parking garage. But like I said, we do have an FY23 project because we know that our elevators in that facility complex need work. So
If I were to report back to them between now and FY23, that elevator won't be operational?
I was not told that it's not operational.
Okay.
So
Maybe it was out of service
I
temporarily.
haven't heard anything from our capital projects director that there is an elevator out of commission.
Okay.
So.
I can check in on that. I'll just connect with you
It would
directly,
definitely tell
Bonnie.
me because he'd be like, where do I get the money?
Right.
So.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Tom. Any other questions? Okay, so as far as the action goes, I know there's 3 kind of adjustments, or 3 lines that are considered adjustments, and 3 cost changes, and then the new 5310 project would be considered amendments. So is the preference, Bonnie, to vote on these separately? I know that on
I don't
the
see
end of
any
railing.
reason why they just can't all be included together as an amendment. So.
Okay. Yeah, I think that would make it easier for rail and transit too, and as far as the Grants Plus system goes. So, okay, so why don't we treat all of this as kind of one amendment to be released for public comment today and then endorsed at the August meeting. So with that, I will ask for a motion and second to release this transit tip amendment number 6 out for public comment.
So moved.
I think I heard a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you. So motion having been made and seconded. Brad, I think you can go ahead and call the roll.
Okay. MassDOT Secretary and CEO Derek Cravat.
Yes.
MassDOT Highway Division Sarah Bradbury.
Yes.
Fitchburg Tom Skransky. Sorry.
Yes.
Leominster Mark Pamarini.
Yes.
Mart Bonnie Mahoney.
Yes.
And Subregion 1 Brian Croto.
Yes.
Motion's passed unanimously.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, everybody.
Oh,
So
and I do see also that we have another signatory joining us, Rosemary Meisner, representing Subregion 2.
Yes.
So all the
Okay.
votes are in.
All right, perfect. Sounds good. Thank you. Yep, just be sure to work with Rail and Transit to get that all in the system, and we'll go from there. So the next item on the agenda is Montachusett Regional Transportation Plan.
Okay, I will be taking that one, and a couple of items just for you to be aware of and where we stand. As we mentioned last month, we're doing work, laying the groundwork for an update to the 2020 Regional Transportation Plan. The new plan needs to be put together and endorsed by next year, 2020, about June of next year in 2023. And we presented this last month also the schedule as to how we anticipate doing some of this work over the next uh, 11 to 12 months. And at this point, we're working on the vision statement section of the transportation plan. It sort of outlines the overall objective of the plan and what we think will happen in the region or what we'd like to see happen for the region. So this next handout is the vision statement that we're talking about to begin with. The first statement in the box, the first box is really the 2020 RTP. That is our existing regional transportation plan vision statement. And so we're updating this statement here. Um, we are looking to capture long-term goals, what we want the transportation in the region to head towards, an aspirational outlook for the RTP. Our staff did a preliminary attempt on the vision statement. There was a lot of concern about the first one being sort of a rather long, one sentence, sort of a run-on. So there was looked at to try and things to be uh, whittled down, make it a little more concise and more understandable. And that's what's in this box here. But then that's just a starting point for people to look at. And at last week's MJTC meeting, the group discussed and pulled this vision statement in the 2020 RTP, and again, what the new statement should look like. So what you see up here, as I mentioned, is the two different statements we're starting with, and also as a handout. Sorry, wrong one. As a handout is some vision statements from some other RTPs from other RPAs across the Commonwealth. Um, what you'll see is from Central Mass, the Berkshire Regional Planning Commission, and Northern Middlesex Council of Governments. And so looking at these, seeing how they approached it, how they added to their plan, their vision statement, is something to consider for us. So again, one thing we consider important is that the statement be concise and to the point, while still portraying our full intent for the future. After we dropped this vision statement, the goals, objectives, and performance measures will also be reviewed and adjusted to make them in line with the vision statement. So, two questions basically for the group today is going off the existing 2020 vision statement. Is there anything we can pare down without losing any of the overall substance of the statement? And given the events that have occurred since the statement was developed in 2019, what needs to be added to express what we feel is the ideal vision for the transportation network of the future? So we're throwing this out there right now. We mentioned it to the JTC, gave them the same presentation, asked them to think about it, get back to us with any comments, questions, their ideas of what the vision statement should look like. And at our next couple of meetings for the JTC, we'll refine the vision statement based upon all the input we get. So we're asking the same feedback from the MPO to take a look at this, tell us what they think is important for our region, what needs to be added. Does the statement make sense? Is it to the point? Does it jive with the overall plans and goals we're looking for the region? We did talk again at the JTC about the second vision statement, the 2024 draft. Some wording was cut out to make it more concise and less of a run-on. But then there were people who were concerned. They thought it still needed to be in there, though. The information regarding, maintaining support, promoting a sustainable, healthy, livable, environmentally sensitive region. Some felt that was still important and should be looked at and added back into the vision statement. There was also some interest in, I guess, northern Middlesex. One of the comments they had dealt with assessing the ability of existing transportation system to meet those needs identified in the plan. That's sort of a something that maybe needs to be worked into our vision statement. So we'll take all that under consideration, and as we mentioned, over the next couple of months, work to develop a new vision statement. We'll present back to the MPO for for your feedback and then your approval, and it'll again go into the final draft document, the RTP. And I will say too, as I've told our staff too, we want to get the vision statement wrapped up fairly quickly because it helps us develop the plan, but it won't be cast in stone. If we get to the 21-day comment period on the regional transportation plan and we get some comments back in the vision statement at that point, we can look to make changes in it to make it address the concerns of the people. So that's the first part of the presentation regarding the vision statement. Are there any questions right now on that?
Thanks, Brad.
No
Any?
questions?
Yep.
Okay.
So are we just sending you feedback via email, Brad? Is that what you're looking for then?
Yes, that'd be the easiest way. Just email me back at bharris@mrpc.org. Or you could also email Sherry Bean at sbean or Brian Doherty, B. Doherty, and George Snow at G. Snow. Any of us, even a phone call, anything we'll accept just to, again, develop this statement that's better in line with what everybody's looking at.
Okay, thank you.
The next item on the RTP update is we're developing a draft survey that we plan to distribute to the public and put it online also. This is based on the survey we did in 2020. So we want to try and match up some of these responses so we can see any trends developing between the two plans. But we've added some additional questions that consider basically the COVID impacts on travel habits in the region. So we wanted to keep the survey short and to the point, and again, we're encouraging feedback from the MPO and from the JTC as to if these survey makes sense, if the answers to the questions make sense, then people can understand what we're looking for. But I'll just briefly look at the questions, and you'll see that we have questions 4 and 5 ask the questions about method of travel, both pre-pandemic and post-pandemic. So we'll try and see if there's a change in the overall pattern of people as they respond to these questions. And again, the same with questions 6 and 7. We've split it up into a pre-pandemic and post-pandemic 2 questions so that we can judge those differences between what people have done to their travel patterns. 8, what is the major condition that impacts your commute the most? This is a carryover from the prior survey. Asking questions if you drive alone, are there other commuting options currently available to you? So hopefully we can identify some trends or some changes maybe in the commuting options for people. If more people are able to take commuter rail or so on and so forth. Question 11, we're asking people to rank in importance from 1, the most important, to 10, the least, the following issues that need to be addressed in your travels over the next 25 years. In the prior survey, we asked people if they had $100 to spend, how would they split that money up among these various options. And it got a little confusing. Some people didn't understand our question. We didn't explain it properly. But we'll have them rank us on a 1 to 10 scale. I think we'll be able to easily match it up to the results from last time to see what, again, is most important to people. And then we looked at asking about travel habits, if they've changed since the pandemic. So we can see if people are actually doing more working at home or they've actually changed where they work and so forth. And then, of course, we ask for any comments and recommendations they may have regarding the entire transportation system. So after people review this and get back to us, we'll finalize the survey. We'll make it available online on our website. We'll also email out stuff to people. And when we have meetings, again, future meetings such as this or other public events, we'll make the survey available, both written form and through a link, so that everybody can get a chance to answer this survey for us for 2022. That briefly is a look at the survey. If there are any questions from anyone.
Any questions for Brad? Sorry, was there a deadline, Brad, for when you were looking for feedback?
Hopefully we can finalize in the next couple of months. But again, we'll go from there and see how many people, what kind of responses we get. If we get a lot of responses asking us to change questions or make some more changes, we'll extend it until we get something that everybody's sort of happy with.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good. Yeah, I will also say MassDOT has an ongoing study looking at telework impacts, so there might be some overlap and might supplement some of the information you find there. So I think that's underway right now, so should be done by the time the regional transportation plan is finished. So
Great.
that could add on to that. But all right, any other questions? All right, thanks, Brad.
Yeah.
Good job. So the next item is updates. MassDOT Highway Division. Sarah, do you want to go first for District 3?
Sorry, yep. Let me just pull it up.
Sure.
Okay, so just going over the TIP projects. The Lancaster project was advertised in March. The Hubbardston project was advertised on June 4th. The Gardner Westminster pavement preservation was advertised just this past week, July 16th. The Leominster Viscaloid Ave Safe Routes to School project is expected to be advertised in mid-August, August 13th. The Ashby intersection improvement project is expected to be advertised in late August, the 27th, as is the Fitchburg Bridge preservation of Circle Street over the North Nashua River. And finally, the Littleton Air intersection improvements at 2A and Willow Road and Bruce Street. The advertisement is anticipated for also August 27th.
Great. Thanks, Sarah. Any questions for Sarah?
I did have one question. Do you know what the status is on the second part of the Twin City Rail Trail?
I don't know that off the top of my head. I can get an update and provide it to Brad in the coming week or so to send out to all the members.
Yeah, one thing that Mart is going to be doing is putting in, we're buying some new bike racks, like stationary bike racks. And I know that was one part of that project that they wanted help on, but we need to buy the racks now so we can close a grant. So that was kind of why we were curious about that.
Okay, I'll get that update to you.
Okay, great, thanks.
Thanks, Bonnie. Any other questions? All right, seeing none, we can go to District 2. Daryl?
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. This is Daryl in District 2. So for FY22 projects, we have project 608850, that's Petersham Bridge Replacement, Glen Valley Road over East Branch of Swift River. That was advertised June 11th. The bids were opened on July 12th with a low bid of $2,140,000 from Tully Construction Corp. The next project is FY23 project number 608784, Templeton Roundabout construction at the intersection of Patriots Road, South Main Street, North Main Street, and Gardner Road. Roadway design is at 100%. The 100% review was completed. Comment review resolution meeting scheduled for the 25th of July, and PS&E is due on August 22nd. Current ad date is January 14th, 2023. Next project is 609107. That's Phillipston Templeton pavement preservation and related work on Route 2. Design is at PS&E. Final PS&E review was completed on July 15th, and the current ad date is November 19th this year. Next in 24 is project 608723, Athol intersection improvements at Crescent Street and Chestnut Hill Ave. The design is at 75%, and 100% is due October 14th this year. Current ad date is January 6th, 2024. And that's what I have for now.
Great. Thanks, Daryl.
You're welcome.
Any questions for Daryl? All right, seeing none, I think we can move to the next item, which is update for transit. Is this you, Bonnie?
Yeah, George is on vacation, so.
Okay, sounds good.
So Mark, I mean, most of the updates that we have, you've already heard about because of our construction delays. We are kind of shifting things, how we do in our construction rollouts, and we've already started releasing some RFPs for our FY23 projects. And other than that, I know George gave updates on our fare card system. Our app is still not in the App Store. I'm a little frustrated about that, but it's supposed to be ready for the thing that's holding it up. I told them to release it without it, which is the trip planner piece of it. So hopefully it will be released by this weekend without the trip planner. And then once we figure out what's causing the issues with the trip planner, we'll do an update. So just keep an eye on our website for when the mobile app finally goes live for the fare products. And that's really all I have.
Great. Sounds good. Thanks, Bonnie. Sounds neat. And what's the app called?
Mart on the Go.
Okay, great. Sounds good. Keep an eye out for that. Any questions for Bonnie? All right, seeing none. The next item is update from Montachusett Joint Transportation Commission. Committee, is that you, Brad?
Yes, it is. I have some handouts to talk to people about, so I'll just bring them up one at a time. The first I want to mention on the MJTC was they met last week on July 13th. Elections were held at that meeting, and elected were the new chair is Dick Kilhart from Washington. The vice chair is Travis Condon from the North Central Mass Chamber of Commerce, and the secretary is Bob Schwartz from Gardner. So they'll be taking over as officers for the MJTC. The JTC has also decided to take the months of August and December off. So the schedule for the rest of the year will be our next meeting will be September 14th, and then after that, November 9th. Then we'll return to an every month schedule beginning in January with the development of the new TIP. The Planning Commission has also been able to secure the services finally of an outside contractor to conduct traffic counts in our region. Amos Engineering out of Framingham has been selected, and hopefully they are underway this week. We'll be getting underway at the latest next Monday. So that's a big relief from for us here at the Planning Commission. We got any handouts. The first one is from MassDOT. It's the Northern Tier Passenger Rail Study June newsletter. There was a virtual public information meeting held on July 14th that was well attended. At the meeting, the consultant presented information and data collected and analyzed to date. A video of the meeting and presentation can be found at the Northern Tier Project website, which is at mass.gov/northern-tier-passenger-rail-study. It's this link you see right here on the screen. That'll take you to information on the whole project, and there you can view a video of the last meeting, and all future meetings will also be posted on that site, and we will also try and post them onto the MRPC website under announcements so that you can see them there. My next two handouts are related to Mass DEP and a grant program they put together. This first one is just a news announcement, and the second is a guidance document. The program is called Funding Opportunity for Private, Public, and Nonprofit Entities to Replace Eligible Diesel Vehicles and Equipment with Zero Emission Technologies. Through the Federal Diesel Emissions Reduction Act program, Massachusetts is conducting a competitive electric-only solicitation with an application deadline of August 24th. This is an early replacement program designed to accelerate the retirement of less efficient and more polluting diesel vehicles and equipment. Eligible diesel vehicles, engines, and equipment include, but are not limited to, school buses, transit buses, medium-duty or heavy-duty trucks, and non-road engines, equipment, or vehicles. Mass DEP has approximately $1.8 million available, for this new program, and it's open to any entity, public or private, with an eligible vehicle, eligible engine or equipment to replace. There is eligibility requirements that can be found on the 2001 Diesel Emission Reduction Act guideline, and that would be on the DEP site. So this newsletter just explains about the program slightly, and the guidance is available to tell you what you can apply for and how what the program will cover. If there are any questions, they could either call us, and we can look into it, or talk to DEP directly. So the next hint I want to provide, we've been talking with MJTC over these next two program grants. This is a handout that we talked to MJTC on. They're on two new federally funded grant programs enacted by or through the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law. The first covers a program titled Safe Streets and Roads for All, or SS4A for short. The second grant program is entitled Reconnecting American Communities. MRPC is looking to put together an application for under the SS4A program to develop an action plan for the region. These SS4A grants, there are two types. There's the action plan grant and the implementation grant to fund projects and strategies. However, an implementation grant cannot be applied for until there is an action plan grant in place. So if a local community has an action plan already, they can see if it's acceptable to the feds through a eligibility worksheet they have in the program guides. And if it's acceptable to them, then you could apply for implementation grants. If not, there's an action plan grant that needs to be done. An action plan needs to be done for the community. We are intending to put together an action plan grant to cover hopefully the entire region. We will be talking with the communities. I'm sending out an email hopefully later this week, surveying the community to see who is interested in being a partner with us on this grant program and this application. And hopefully, again, we'll be able to cover the entire region in the development of an action plan. If any community does already have an action plan in place, we're asking that they let us know, and we can take a look at it and see what can be done. Regarding who can apply, you can see MPOs are eligible to apply, political subdivisions, cities, towns, counties, special districts, and a multi-jurisdictional group of entities. Multiple towns, multiple communities can get together and apply themselves for an action plan grant. Part of this program is state DOTs are not eligible to apply, so this will be all funding coming to, again, the states for implementation and action plans. The U.S. DOT has approximately $5 billion available for the next 5 federal fiscal years to support this program, so we'll be looking, again, as we said, put something together. There is a September 15th deadline on this program, the SS4A program, so we'll be working towards that to get it put together and submitted well on time. The second federally funded program is called Reconnecting American Communities. We'll be looking at this more in depth over the next few weeks and talking to other communities, see who's interested. The program is designed to help reconnect communities that were previously cut off from economic opportunities by transportation infrastructure. Reconnecting a community could mean adapting existing infrastructure, such as a building, a pedestrian walkway, over or under an existing highway, to better connect neighborhoods to opportunities or better means of access, such as crosswalks and redesigned intersections. This has an application deadline of October 13th. The hopefully information you can see here, some of the information regarding what's eligible. Again, MPOs and states and local communities are eligible to apply. This is a brief overview of the program, but if communities are interested in talking and discussing this about putting together an application or putting together a joint application, just get in touch with us here at the MRPC, and we'll work with you and see what we can do to be part of this program also. The last one I want to talk about is something that just came in recently to us. It's called the Carbon Reduction Program. This is another funding opportunity through the BIL, Bipartisan Infrastructure Law. Basically, the Carbon Reduction Program The goal is to reduce the transportation emissions through the development of state carbon reduction strategies and by funding projects designed to reduce transportation emissions. The funding may be used on a wide range of projects to support the reduction of transportation emissions. The projects, however, must be identified in the statewide transportation improvement program, a transportation or a local tip, and be consistent with the long-range statewide plan and long-range regional transportation plans. So we'll work with communities who might be interested to make sure we can cover those in our upcoming RTP, and if they are also mentioned in our existing one. Just so you know, for each fiscal year, 65% of the funding comes funding comes directly to the state. And from that funding, 65% of the funds apportioned to Massachusetts shall be obligated in portion to based upon the populations. They will allocate funds to urbanized areas with populations greater than 200,000, and also to urbanized areas with populations between 50 and 200,000. The remaining 35% goes to the state that they can spend at their own discretion. So right here they give an example. So let's say if in Minnesota, as an example, the state is getting just over 20 million this year. The state has a total discretion over how to spend 7 million, or 35% of that amount. So they could just spend that how they wish. The remaining 13 million, or 65% of those funds, must be sub-allocated, and for larger areas, those amounts are set. The Minneapolis-St. Paul urbanized area will get 6.67 million, St. Cloud 278, Rochester 271,000, and so on and so forth. And those are based again on population between 5,000 and 50,000, and urbanized areas greater than 50,000. What's that mean for us here in our region? Basically, the Fitchburg-Leominster urbanized area is going to get a sub-allocation of funding of about 209,000. That's based at that information is included in some of the notice of funding opportunity and so forth that have been put together for this program. So we will need to decide about that sub-allocation, how we access it, how we identify programs, and how the process will be to get things that are put together that will make sense to the region. So again, I'm talking in Fitchburg-Leominster of $209,071. We also have parts of the larger urbanized areas, Boston, Nashua, and Providence, I believe, might even creep up into our region. I don't know if the money that they're allocated gets distributed throughout their region, or if we get access to any of those additional funds. I'm not sure, but we'll look into that further. But I want to let people know about this program, and we will start discussing carbon reduction and emission reduction strategies that will make sense for the MRPC region. That is it. All these handouts that I've been telling you, I want to tell you that they're available for everybody under the announcements section. Federal funding grants and programs from the BIL. If you click there, you get a brief rundown of the programs, and down below you'll see the notice of funding opportunities for the Safe Streets for All and the Reconnecting American Communities notice of funding opportunities. They're there along with some facts and the guidance for the carbon reduction program. So if you weren't able to download them from the website, our online folder, they are available through the MRPC website for everybody. And that is what I have on MJTC. Any questions?
Thanks, Brad. Any questions for Brad?
Oh, there's one question from Dick Kilhart.
Brad, just for the record, your new JTC chairman is from Athol, now mentioning.
I'm sorry. I forgot that. There's too many of you guys out there, Dick Kilhart. Too many Kilharts out there.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. Thanks, Brad. So the next item is update from Montachusett Regional Planning Commission. I know Guy usually gives these, but since he's not here, is there any other update?
I have just a couple of items from our executive director. Some of the ongoing planning projects include provisions of assistance to 10 MBTA communities in compliance with the Chapter 40A, Section 3A Zoning Act. That relates to something the MBTA decided to try and implement in the communities. The completion of a hazard mitigation plan in Lancaster has been done, and it's opening the door for the town to obtain federal funding to correct hazards on local streets. We're providing assistance to communities with the preparation of Green Communities competitive grants to the Mass Department of Energy. These awards for energy-saving projects, such as the installation of energy-efficient heating systems and new lighting in public buildings, and the purchase of electric vehicles from municipalities. Staff has been working on several master plan elements for the town of Ashburnham, and also on zoning bylaw updates to several communities funded through the district local technical assistance program. Since 1998, MRPC has had a very successful brownfields assessment and cleanup program. Since that time, we've been awarded approximately $1.5 million in environmental site assessment grants from the EPA, and another $480,000 revolving loan fund grant. These EPA contracts also fund training in brownfield assessments and reuse planning. Karen Chapman, the Planning and Development Director, will be attending the National EPA Brownfields Conference from August 16th to 19th in Oklahoma City. Also this summer, MRPC is updating census and other socioeconomic information for the Community Health Needs Assessment completed for the Haywood Group and UMass Memorial Health Alliance Clinton Hospital. MRPC has extended its office lease agreement with the trustees of reservation for 5 years, so we'll be here in this building till June 2027. And an MRPC passed its budget for FY23 for all, and there were to cover all our work for the upcoming year, and there were pay increases for all the staff involved. That's briefly what I have on the MRPC side.
Okay, sounds good. Any questions on that? All right, seeing none. The next item is administrative matters, next MPO meeting. I think there will be an August meeting, right, to endorse the amendment?
Yes. It is set for August 17th at 1 p.m.
Okay, sounds good. Any other business? All right, seeing none. So I think we can then move to the last item, which is adjournment. Is there a motion and second to adjourn?
So moved.
Or a second?
Second.
Okay, motion having made and seconded. I think we can just say all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions? Okay, without objection, I think we are adjourned. So thank you, everybody. Good job, and we will see you back here in August. Have a great day.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you very much.
All right,
Thanks, everyone.
bye.